Alrighty guys, welcome back to Star Wars Review. Today I'm reviewing Ahsoka Part 4, Fallen Jedi, which was written by Dave Filoni and directed by Peter Ramsey, and was released on September 5th, 2023, which I thought was a great episode, easily my favorite episode so far. I thought the pacing was great, had some great lightsaber duels, but also moved the story along, and had some great reveals, obviously definitely the ending. But I really liked the moments of Baylan Skoll, played by Ray Stevenson. He's been probably the standout of the series so far. I've just really enjoyed this kind of take on a Fallen Jedi as the title of the episode. But I really enjoyed his lightsaber duel he has with Ahsoka, which before it I liked him talking to her about Anakin, but also the Jedi Order, and also the destination of the map and what it will bring and whatnot. But, like I said, also the actual lightsaber duel was great. I really loved it. I just really like the way Skoll fights. It's kind of heavy, I guess. Just the way he swings his lightsaber, I thought was great. But another moment I really liked with Baylan was near the end of the duel, I guess. He kind of defeats Ahsoka by pushing her off the cliff into the water. But right before that, Sabine, arrives and Ahsoka tells her to destroy the map. But, we see Baylan then kind of manipulate Sabine by bringing up Ezra and how destroying the map will make it so Sabine will never see him again. And, Baylan also brings up Sabine's family and how it seems like they're all actually dead now, because of what happened to Mandalore, as we've seen in The Mandalorian and whatnot. But, it seems like the death of Sabine's family is a big reason why her relationship with Ahsoka kind of soured a bit. But, this manipulation and whatnot works, and Sabine hands over the map, which, obviously Baylan, I, think was more sensing Sabine's emotions, kind of, and, manipulating those. Obviously these were things I would assume Sabine was thinking, but Baylan's manipulation kind of made her make the decisions she made, which I enjoyed that. And also kind of a moment earlier in the episode, near the start, we see Sabine and Ahsoka talking with each other, about what Sabine eventually ends up doing, which Ahsoka kind of tells her that if it comes to it and they can't make the journey to Ezra and Thrawn, no one else can. And, she kind of tells Sabine to put aside her personal feelings and make the right choice. Which, Sabine says, basically, okay and whatnot, which, obviously she doesn't end up doing that. But I enjoyed that moment, and then how it ends up being used later on in the episode. But, also kind of shows how Sabine isn't a Jedi like Ahsoka. Because, obviously Ahsoka was trained from a very young age and, trained to kind of not have those personal connections, which someone being trained as a Jedi later on in life, obviously just has those natural connections with others, what, life just brings. So I really liked all that. But, like I said, obviously that fight with Baylan and the manipulation with Sabine and whatnot pretty much happens at the end of the episode. And, that moment I talked about with Sabine and Ahsoka is at the very start. So there is a lot going on in between that, which, we see some of the, I think they're HK assassin droids attack the ship. There's a cool moment with Hu Yang getting in on some of the action, beating up the one HK assassin droid, which I enjoyed. But because of that, we see Sabine and Ahsoka then head out to take on the enemies to recover the map. Which I liked seeing Sabine in her armor with the helmet on and whatnot. But they run into Shin and Marok, which before they head out, we see Hu Yang tell them to stick together, as, they work better when they stick together. But when they run into Shin and Marok, we see Sabine take on Shin alone, while Ahsoka takes on Marok, which she makes easy work of him and kills him swiftly. Which we see her cut him in half, and then he's just green smoke or something. Which I really like that. Definitely after all the speculation on who he might be, and he just ends up, not really being much of anything, figuratively. Which I really enjoyed that. And, I always find the fascination with characters like him who are seemingly mysterious. And so, everyone speculates on it, myself included, and how it just kind of ends up being something much more simpler than it is, but also how that always ends up being more interesting, at least to me, because, once we learn he's really nothing but like green smoke, maybe Night Sister magic or something. I just found that more interesting than being, a Star Killer or whatever the more popular fan speculation was. But I also like the duel with Shin and Sabine. Obviously, Sabine probably holds a grudge for what happened beforehand, so maybe kind of blinds her a little bit there. But Shin is able to kind of knock her down and easily. And I like the moment with Sabine trying to force push Shin, and then Shin kind of braces herself and then realizes that Sabine doesn't have any powers, which Sabine then uses her Mandalorian weapons on Shin. But Shin then throws like a smoke bomb down and heads for Balin, which during all this, he's kind of guarding the map and whatnot, which you're currently getting the coordinates from. Which at first we see Morgan Elsbeth on the ground, but she then heads towards the Eye of Sion to kind of wait for the coordinates. But while Sabine and Shin were fighting and Ahsoka, obviously easily defeated Marok, she then heads for Balin, once again separating Ahsoka and Sabine. But because, Shin kind of threw a smoke bomb and got away from Sabine and then goes back to Balin, and that kind of distracts Ahsoka once she sees Shin alone without Sabine, thinking that Sabine was killed. But that kind of allows Balin to get the upper hand in their fight together. But jumping forward a bit, once Sabine gives Balin the map back, he puts it back on the pedestal and the coordinate calculations get completed. So they take Sabine prisoner aboard the Eye of Sion, which earlier in the episode we see Hera with Jason and Chopper going against direct orders and going to Cetos in the Ghost, which we see the Ghost fully for the first time, which was nice. Hopefully we get to see more of the inside of it. We just saw the cockpit for now, but Hera is accompanied by Carson Teva and a few other X-Wing pilots, one of which was played by Brendan Wayne, who was who's the actor who kind of does a lot of the, suit acting for Din Djarin in The Mandalorian, which I think he's the one who does like most of it, as Pedro Pascal doesn't always do the stuff there. But it was nice to see him get an actual character, what's actually his face and whatnot to play. But they eventually arrive to Cetos, but it's right when Balin, Shin, and Sabine get onto the Eye of Sion, and they start to make the jump to hyperspace, which they kind of do it when the Ghost and the X-Wings are kind of right in the direct path. So then it kind of, the hyperspace stuff then kind of ends up destroying some of the X-Wings. A little bit kind of like in The Last Jedi with the Holdo maneuver, but obviously on a much smaller scale. But I like the scene afterwards where we see Hera kind of shaken up and visibly defeated, and Jason tells her that he has a bad feeling about it. But the episode ends with Huyang searching for Sabine and Ahsoka, which we then get a shot of the water as it transitions to Ahsoka laying on the ground, which I really like the transition there. But Ahsoka gets up and is in the world between worlds and hears Anakin's voice, which surprises her. So she turns around and sees him in the flesh, which is where the episode ends. Which obviously that's a big ending there. Obviously the next episode is out already, and I've watched it, so I do know what ends up happening. But I like that reveal. Obviously, like I said, I've already seen the next episode, so I can't really speculate too much on it there. But other than that, I really enjoyed everything else of the episode. I liked, like I talked about a lot, Balin and Sabine's kind of decision and whatnot. So, so far out of the first 4 episodes, this is definitely my favorite so far. But I'm excited to dive into the next episode, which, spoiler, I liked more than this episode. But my grade for this episode is going to be an A-. So yeah, but that's going to be for this one. I'll have my review of the next episode out soon, so you can check that out then. But But in the meantime, check out my reviews on the first 3 episodes and all my other Ahsoka videos and everything else I do. But if it's Star Wars review, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.
My life fighting a war. That's why I'm trying to convince you to help me prevent another one. You and I both know who could help you with this.
She's still just as stubborn as ever.
I bet your master found you difficult at times.
Anakin never got to finish my training. I walked away.